Sometimes the universe has a way of bringing together exactly who needs each other, exactly when they need it most. Mark's voice cracked slightly as he looked directly into the camera, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. If you've ever felt like giving up on love, or if you're raising kids on your own and wondering if anyone will ever understand your life, this story is for you. I never thought opening my front door that night would change everything. If you find value in our journey, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow our blended family adventures. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. 3 years ago, Mark Davidson stood in his bathroom, scrutinizing his reflection with the critical eye of someone who hadn't been on a date in nearly 5 years. At 42, the lines around his eyes had deepened, and flecks of gray peppered his dark brown hair. He adjusted his blue button-down shirt for the third time, wondering if he should have chosen something more casual. "Dad, you look fine," his 14-year-old daughter Lily said from the doorway, arms crossed over her chest. "It's just dinner." Mark turned to face her, trying to read her expression. Lily had her mother's eyes, perceptive, intelligent, and lately, guarded. "Just dinner with a complete stranger," he corrected, attempting a smile that felt foreign on his face. "A stranger Emma's mom knows from work," Lily countered, referring to her best friend. "That's practically family in Mom Network terms." Behind Lily, Mark's 10-year-old son Jake appeared, clutching his tablet. "Are you gonna marry her?" he asked bluntly. Mark choked on air. "What? No. Jake, it's just dinner. One dinner. People have to meet before before anything else happens." "Like dating?" Jake pressed. "Like becoming friends," Mark clarified, though his stomach twisted with anxiety. Friends. Was that what he was looking for? After Caroline's death 5 years ago, he'd thrown himself into single parenthood, determined to give Lily and Jake stability. Dating had seemed impossible, unnecessary even. But lately, the loneliness had begun to seep into the quiet moments, after the kids went to bed, during school events where he sat alone among couples, in the empty space beside him on the couch. "Emma's mom says Jennifer is really nice," Lily offered, her tone softening slightly. "And she likes hiking and stuff." Mark nodded, grateful for his daughter's attempt at encouragement. "Well, that's something. We like hiking. And she's pretty," Jake added helpfully. "Emma showed us a picture." Mark raised an eyebrow. "You two have been doing reconnaissance?" Lily rolled her eyes. "We're just looking out for you, Dad." The doorbell rang, sending a jolt of panic through Mark's body. He checked his watch, 7:28. She was early. "She's punctual," Lily observed. "That's good." Mark took a deep breath. "Okay, you two. Remember what we talked about? Mrs. Rodriguez is next door if you need anything. Homework, then 1 hour of screen time, then bed. I'll be back by 10. "We know, Dad," Lily said, already heading toward her room. "We're not babies. Have fun on your date." Jake called out as he followed his sister. "It's not a," Mark began, but they were already gone. He straightened his shoulders and walked to the front door, wiping his suddenly damp palms on his jeans. When he opened the door, his first thought was that Jake was right, Jennifer was pretty. She had shoulder-length auburn hair, warm brown eyes, and a nervous smile that somehow put him at ease. She wore a simple green dress that complemented her fair skin, and she clutched her purse with both hands. "Hi," she said. "Mark, right? I'm Jennifer. Jennifer Walsh." "Hi, Jennifer," Mark replied, surprised at how steady his voice sounded. "It's nice to meet you. You're right on time." She laughed softly. "Actually, I've been sitting in my car for about 10 minutes, debating whether to be fashionably late or embarrassingly early. I split the difference." Mark found himself smiling genuinely for the first time that evening. Honesty. "I appreciate that." Jennifer shifted her weight from one foot to the other. So, I should probably tell you something before we go. Mark's smile faltered. Here it came, the deal breaker. Maybe she was just out of a relationship, or moving away soon, or had realized on the drive over that she wasn't ready to date a widower with 2 kids. My kids are waiting in the car, she said quickly. Mark froze, his mind struggling to process her words. Your kids. Jennifer nodded, her cheeks flushing. I know this isn't conventional for a first date, but my babysitter canceled last minute, and I didn't want to cancel on you, and... She took a breath. I have twins. They're 8. Zoe and Ethan. They have books and tablets and promise to be on their best behavior at the restaurant. I completely understand if you want to reschedule. Mark stood motionless for a moment, then peered past Jennifer to the blue sedan parked in his driveway. He could just make out 2 small figures in the back seat. You brought your kids on our blind date? He asked, still processing. Jennifer winced. I know, it's weird. Diane didn't tell you I have children. No, she mentioned you work together at the hospital. That you're a nurse. That you like hiking. Mark paused. She left out the part about you being a mom. Oh. Jennifer's face fell. I'm sorry. I should have made sure you knew. I can go. No, Mark said suddenly, surprising himself. No, don't go. Actually. He glanced back into his house, then at Jennifer's hopeful expression. Why don't you invite them in? I have 2 kids about to start their homework. Maybe they could all work together while we... I don't know, have a coffee here instead of dinner out. Jennifer's eyes widened. Are you sure? That's not what you signed up for. Mark smiled, feeling something shift inside him, something that had been stuck for a very long time. Neither did you, but here we are. Besides, if we're going to get to know each other, meeting each other's kids seems like an important step. Most people save that for date 3 or 4, Jennifer said, but she was smiling now. I've never been very patient, Mark replied. Let me grab my keys, and I'll help you get them. As they walked toward her car, Jennifer glanced at him. You know, Diane didn't tell me you had kids either. Mark laughed. Sounds like Diane was playing matchmaker with selective information. Sneaky, Jennifer agreed. But maybe she knew what she was doing. When they reached the car, 2 identical faces peered up at them, a boy and a girl with their mother's auburn hair and curious eyes. Kids, this is Mark, Jennifer said, opening the back door. We're going to change plans a bit. Mark has invited us all in to meet his children. You have kids? Zoe asked, her eyes lighting up. Mark nodded. A daughter who's 14 and a son who's 10. Cool, Ethan said, unbuckling his seatbelt. Do they like Minecraft? Jake does, Mark confirmed. He's probably playing it right now instead of starting his homework. Jennifer gave her children a pointed look. Speaking of homework. We know, Mom, they chorused, gathering their backpacks. As Mark led the unexpected guests toward his front door, he felt a strange sense of rightness. This wasn't the quiet, getting-to-know-you dinner he'd anticipated. It was messier, more complicated, more real. And somehow, that made him less nervous than he'd been all day. Lily. Jake, he called as they entered the house. Change of plans. We have company. The evening that followed was nothing like the first date Mark had imagined. Instead of candlelight and careful conversation, there was homework spread across the dining table, pizza delivery when everyone got hungry, and the chaotic energy of 4 children getting to know each other. Mark learned that Jennifer had been divorced for 3 years, that she worked night shifts 3 days a week, that her twins were in 3rd grade and obsessed with astronomy. He watched how she interacted with her children, patient but firm, affectionate without being overbearing. And he noticed how she spoke to Lily and Jake, with genuine interest and respect, never talking down to them. By the time the twins started yawning around 9 o'clock, Mark realized he'd learned more about Jennifer in this unconventional evening than he would have over a dozen restaurant dinners. He'd seen her in action as a mother, witnessed her sense of humor when Jake spilled his soda, observed her intelligence as she helped Lily with a science question. "We should probably get going," Jennifer said, helping Ethan pack up his books. "It's past their bedtime." "Ah, Mom," Zoe protested. "Lily was going to show me her rock collection." "Another time," Jennifer said, then glanced at Mark. "Maybe. If that's okay." Mark nodded. "Definitely." This was nice. Jennifer smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. It was unexpected, but nice. As they gathered at the front door, Lily appeared beside Mark. "Dad, can I talk to you for a second?" Mark excused himself and followed Lily into the kitchen. "What's up, sweetheart?" Lily fidgeted with the sleeve of her sweatshirt. "I like them," she said quietly. "Jennifer and the twins. They're normal." Mark felt a lump form in his throat. In Lily's world, normal was high praise. "I like them too." "So you're going to see her again?" Lily asked, trying to sound casual. "I'd like to," Mark admitted. "Would that be okay with you?" Lily shrugged, but Mark could see the small smile she was trying to hide. "Yeah, I guess. Jake thinks the twins are cool, too." "Good to know I have your approval," Mark said, giving her shoulder a squeeze. When they returned to the entryway, Jennifer was helping Zoe with her jacket while Ethan chatted animatedly with Jake about some game they both played. "Everything okay?" Jennifer asked, looking between Mark and Lily. "Everything's great," Mark assured her. "In fact, I was wondering if you'd like to try this again. Maybe an actual date next time, if you can find a babysitter. Or another family night if you can't." Jennifer's expression softened. "I'd like that. Either option sounds good to me." As they said their goodbyes, Mark felt a flutter of anticipation he hadn't experienced in years. This wasn't how he'd expected the evening to go, but somehow, it had turned out better than he could have imagined. After Jennifer and the twins left, Mark closed the door and leaned against it, processing the events of the evening. "Dad?" Jake's voice pulled him from his thoughts. "Is Jennifer going to be your girlfriend now?" Mark laughed. "Slow down, buddy. We just met." "But you like her," Jake persisted. "I do," Mark admitted. "She seems like a good person." "And she has kids," Jake added. "So she gets it." Mark nodded, struck by his son's simple wisdom. "Yeah, she gets it." That night, as Mark lay in bed, he found himself thinking not just about Jennifer, but about the twins, their eager faces, their easy laughter. He thought about how natural it had felt to have them all in his home, how the empty spaces had seemed a little less empty. His phone buzzed with a text message. "Jennifer, thanks for tonight. Sorry again about the surprise kid situation. But I'm glad it worked out." Mark smiled as he typed his reply. "Mark, best surprise I've had in a long time. Lily and Jake can't stop talking about the twins. When can we do it again? Jennifer, how about this weekend? Park and picnic with all the kids." Mark, perfect. It's a date. Or a family outing. Or whatever this is. Jennifer, I think whatever this is, works for now. Good night, Mark. Mark, good night, Jennifer. He set his phone down, feeling lighter than he had in years. Whatever this was, it felt like the beginning of something important. The following weeks brought a series of, whatever this is, encounters, family picnics, movie nights, a hiking trip with all 4 kids that ended with ice cream and sunburns. Mark and Jennifer managed 2 actual dates alone, thanks to reciprocal babysitting arrangements between their children, who had quickly formed their own bonds. By the time 2 months had passed, Mark realized he was falling in love, not just with Jennifer, but with the idea of their blended family. The twins brought a joyful energy to his home that had been missing, and he watched with amazement as Lily slowly emerged from her shell, taking on a big sister role that seemed to fulfill something in her. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The first real challenge came when Jake had a meltdown during a board game night, accusing Ethan of cheating and storming off to his room. "I'll go talk to him," Mark said, rising from the table. "No, let me," Jennifer replied, surprising everyone. "If that's okay with you." Mark hesitated, then nodded. He watched as Jennifer knocked gently on Jake's door, then disappeared inside. 20 minutes later, they emerged together, Jake's eyes red but his expression calm. "Sorry I ruined game night," Jake mumbled to the group. "You didn't ruin anything," Jennifer assured him. "Everyone has bad moments." Later, after the twins had fallen asleep on the couch and Lily had retreated to her room, Mark asked Jennifer what she'd said to Jake. "I told him about how Ethan struggles with losing sometimes too," she explained. "And how it's okay to feel frustrated, but we have to learn to express it without hurting others." She paused. "I hope I didn't overstep." Mark shook his head. "You didn't. I'm grateful, actually. Sometimes I think Jake needs a perspective that isn't just mine." Jennifer smiled softly. "That's what I miss most about co-parenting, having another adult to tag in when you're not sure what to do." "Yeah," Mark agreed. "It's been just me for so long, I forget sometimes that it's not supposed to be this hard." "Parenting is always hard," Jennifer said, reaching for his hand. "But it's easier when you're not doing it alone." The moment hung between them, full of unspoken possibilities. "Jennifer," Mark began, his heart racing. "I know it's only been a couple of months, but I want you to know that I'm serious about this, about us. I'm falling in love with you, and with Zoe and Ethan. And I think Lily and Jake are falling in love with all of you too." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "I'm falling in love with you too," she whispered. "And it scares me a little, how right this feels." "Why does it scare you?" Mark asked gently. Jennifer took a deep breath. "Because I've done this before, marriage, family, and it fell apart. What if we're moving too fast? What if the kids get attached and then? And then what?" Mark prompted when she trailed off. "And then one of us realizes this isn't what we want after all," she finished. Mark considered her words carefully. "I can't promise that won't happen. But I can promise that I'll be honest with you every step of the way. And that whatever happens between us, I'll always respect your role in my children's lives, just as I hope you'll respect mine in Zoe and Ethan's." Jennifer nodded, wiping away a tear. "That's a good promise. One I can make too." They sealed their promises with a kiss, both aware that they were crossing a threshold into deeper commitment. The next challenge came from an unexpected source. One evening, after the twins had gone home with Jennifer, Lily knocked on Mark's office door, her expression troubled. "Dad, can we talk?" Mark set aside his work. "Of course, sweetheart. What's up?" Lily sat on the edge of his desk, picking at her nail polish, a nervous habit she'd had since childhood. "Are you and Jennifer going to get married?" The question caught Mark off guard. "We haven't talked about that yet. We're still getting to know each other." "Why do you ask?" Lily shrugged, not meeting his eyes. "Just wondering." "Lily," Mark said gently. "Talk to me. What's bothering you?" She was quiet for a long moment. "I like Jennifer. I really do. And the twins are great. But what? But what about Mom?" Lily's voice cracked. "If you marry Jennifer, and we all live together, and become this new family, what happens to Mom? Do we just forget her?" Mark felt his heart break a little. He pulled his daughter into a hug, feeling her resist for a moment before melting into